All right, we're live. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
That's Marcella, and we're getting ready to do some Dale Chihuly inspired art. So what we have is a couple of cups, some coffee filters, extra pieces of paper to go underneath our coffee filters. We have Crayola markers, and some rubber bands, and spray starch. So minimal amount of supplies, pretty cheap supplies. You don't need anything too expensive for this. And we're going to be coloring our coffee filters with a lot of different colors. And then I'll show you how to transform them into more of a Dale Chihuly inspired piece of artwork. So if you don't know who Dale Chihuly is, he is a glass blower. And he creates glass art that has a very natural look to it. It looks a lot like flowers, things that grow. He has pieces all over the world. We have some in Omaha, here close to us, that we've seen. He has stuff in Vegas, just kind of all over the world. You can find his artwork pretty easily, and it has a very distinctive style to it.
And the more colors you get on this, the more pretty it looks.
That's right. So Marcella already started coloring, and what we're doing is we're coloring our coffee filters with our markers. And like she said, the more colors you add, the prettier this is going to turn out. And that's usually what I tell my students too when we do this project. And we're coloring on top of other pieces of paper because the markers will bleed through the coffee filter. That's what they're designed to do. And we're using coffee filters because they work really well with this project because they take the shape once they are sprayed with the starch and they have dried. They're flimsy enough to kind of form into whatever shape that you want, and they take the markers really well. If you're an art teacher, you probably have already seen this lesson before. It's a pretty popular one that you see a lot on art teacher sites, kind of all over the place.
Look it.
That's looking really nice, Marcella.
It's spilling. Look, the cup of paint was spilling, and it made a big rainbow.
Oh, nice. Will you show everybody what you're doing? That's really cool, babe. So we're just kind of filling this up with designs. Now, when you're doing this, I tell my students, you don't want to be, what is the word I'm looking for? Be super concerned about being very precise with this, because when you spray it with the starch to make the shape, it will make your colors bleed, which means that they'll kind of run all over the place a little bit.
Bay. I spelled bay.
You spelled what?
Bay.
Oh.
Bay.
So I'm just kind of doing just like a random design. And then I'll show you how you can form it into more of a Chihuly styled shape. Kind of more like a flower.
Look. This is mine.
That's looking really nice, hun.
Now what can I do?
You probably want to add more color on the outside.
Okay. Maybe I'll do something on the back.
Okay.
Which red works? Which red works?
I don't know. Your red is getting kind of low on marker ink.
This one works.
Oh, that's good. That must be your new marker. Got her a bunch of new markers for her birthday. I almost always have a spiral in my artwork. I just do it subconsciously. I don't even think about it anymore. Almost done with my design. How's yours coming out?
Good.
Curious to see what these polka dots do when I spray them with the starch.
What about lines?
I think I'm going to stick with my polka dots. I like the polka dots.
I'm going to do different shapes.
Okay. pretty happy with that, so I'm going to show you the next step. So, this is when you're going to need a cup. And I would try and find a cup that's going to be tall enough to where your coffee filter doesn't touch the bottom when it hangs off. So you want to kind of form it around the cup. This is where I have my students have a little bit of trouble and they need a little extra help because they can't quite do the rubber band and hold it at the same time. So I tell them to kind of partner up and have one person hold it while the other person puts the rubber band on.
Mine on the back.
Yep. Okay, let me show them this part. So you put the rubber band over the coffee filter, down far enough where nothing's going to slide, but it stays on the cup. And then what you do is you spray it with the starch. And you want to do it just enough to saturate the whole thing. And the starch is going to make it stiff enough.
Make sure to do the top.
Yeah, I did. It's going to stiffen it up when it dries and keep it in that shape. Now, with this project, I've only ever used starch because I know it works and it's pretty easy to find. I can get it at the dollar store. So if you know of any other things that work with this, maybe hairspray or something along those lines, let me know if you have another liquid that you could spray on there to make it stay. I'm not quite sure on that. I just know the starch works pretty well. I'm going to put my paper under there because I'm probably going to have some of the marker drip off as it's drying.
There.
How's yours coming? Are you ready to spray it? Or are you going to add more color?
I'm going to add more.
Okay. So when this is dry, what it's going to do is it's going to stay kind of in this shape. And then what I usually have my students do, I usually have them make 3. And then we get a separate dry piece of paper and glue them on the paper and then display them all together. You can kind of come up with your own way that you want to do it. We're just doing one for our demonstration today.
Look at my shiny face.
Nice, honey. And that's all we have for you for today. So I'm going to spray Marcella's after she's done coloring, and I'll take pictures of the end results when they're dried, hopefully tomorrow. We'll see how fast they dry.
He has a mohawk.
All right, you want to say goodbye? See you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.